Hey, sports card fans, it's John, Wade Boggs fan. Hope you're all doing well. Speaking of doing well, my thoughts go out to all the fellow collectors and YouTubers out there who live in Florida and South Carolina that are dealing with Hurricane Ian. I hope everyone out there is safe for you and your family. And this brings up another point. If you have any type of significant collection, sports card collection, and you haven't already, I would suggest that you look into insurance to cover your collection. Now, some homeowner policies, I believe you can pay for an additional rider that may cover some household items like a sports card collection. And of course, there is outside separate insurance, which is what I have to protect my collection in case something should happen to it. So again, my thoughts are with everyone out there. And again, if you haven't insured your collection, now may be the time to think about doing so. All right, on to today's video. This video is a continuation of a series that I'm doing in which I'm taking a look at the cards of a particular vintage set and showing off my top 10 favorite cards. Now, these aren't necessarily the most valuable cards, the most popular cards of the set. These are ones that I just find visually appealing, interesting, ones that I just happen to like. So you may find some common cards, some Hall of Famers in there. Today's video, I will be looking at the 1950 Bowman set. Now, the 1950 Bowman set is made up of 252 cards. And yes, I looked at all 252 cards to come up with this top 10 list. Now, the 1950 Bowman set is quickly becoming one of my favorite vintage sets. I love the small size of the cards, but more importantly, the fact that these are artist renderings of photographs. The colors used in these cards are just amazing. Now, most of the cards in the set are standard portrait shots of the player, and even though some are really nice looking, most of them did not. In fact, I don't know if any of those standard portrait shots made my top 10 list. The thing I really like about the 1950 Bowman set are some of the backgrounds that are used in the images. A lot of them are taken in stadiums or other areas, and they just look really, really cool to me. So let's get into my top 10 favorite 1950 Bowman cards. Coming in at number 10 is the, if you want to call it, iconic Jackie Robinson card, the 1950 Bowman. I just love the fact that it's in the stadium. Again, you can see the stadium in the background. He has, again, it's more of a, not quite of an action shot. It still is posed, but it's of him swinging. You get a full body image picture of Jackie Robinson there. Again, most of the cards in the set are, close-up portrait shots, which, again, are nice. But just love this image of Jackie Robinson, especially showing the stadium in the background. All right, coming in at number 9 is the Warren Spahn. Again, Warren Spahn in these early, the late 40s, early 50s cards, show off that really cool high leg kick of his pitching motion. But also check the background. I mean, it almost looks like the picture was taken in some, I don't know, some field or just some downtown little baseball park with that fence in the background. It doesn't look like a normal stadium. And I don't know. It'd be interesting to know where that was taken. It may be part of maybe an outfield wall, but it looks like there's a standard pitching mound there, so maybe a warm-up area. I just find the overall picture or the image of the card really cool, and especially, like I said, the wind up there of Warren Spahn. So that makes the number 9 on my list. All right, number 8. Sam Chapman. Now, again, some of these cards are going to be fairly familiar to you, the Jackie Robinson and the Warren Spahn. But if you're not familiar with the 1950 Bowman set, some of the cards on my list, including the Sam Chapman, you've maybe never seen before. I just love the background of this. Again, it's a standard pose of him swinging the bat, but you see part of a stadium, probably maybe spring training. You see some players sitting in the dugout, but check out those telephone poles in the back. I don't know. I just find the whole image really, really neat for a baseball card. So the Sam Chapman comes in at number 8 on my list. Number 7 is Jim Hegan, probably another player that you may not be familiar with, but this is another stadium card. You'll start to see some similarities here on my top 10 list, but this is another stadium card where you see the stadium and the crowd in the background there. And this is, again, not necessarily an action shot, but it looks like he is at bat and getting ready to possibly swing at the ball. And of course, the colors. The color of the uniform, everything about this card, I just love, and so it comes in at number 7 on my list. Number 6, the Larry Doby, very similar to the previous card, where he's at the plate getting ready to swing the bat. But what puts this at number 6 versus the previous card of Jim Hegan? Here you can see that the crowd in the background is a bit muted. It's more of like a gray-ish images. For the Larry Doby card, the crowd in the background has more color to them. They sort of pop a little bit more. So that's why Larry Doby ranks number 6 on my list. Number 5, Dick Fowler. I don't know who Dick Fowler is, but that is just one awesome looking card. Probably taken again in spring training. You have a stadium, sort of like an open air stadium in the back. You see a couple people in the background there. There's like a guy on the left that looks like he's leaning over the fence, maybe talking to someone. But check out that palm tree in the back. And again, you have him in like sort of like a pitching motion, so a little bit more of an action shot than the standard portrait. But that is just one really cool looking card, the Dick Fowler card. All right, number 4, Ferris Fane. Again, I've never heard of Ferris Fane before, but check out now that is actually more of an action image. He's in the air. I didn't look at the back to see maybe he's the first baseman for the Athletics, but again, it's a stadium image in the background. You see maybe a few people down in the background there. Looks like it's before the crowd is coming into the stadium, and he's just leaping there in the air with the ball in his mitt. Just a really cool image and shot there. And again, just love the colors of these 50 Bowman cards. So the Ferris Fane makes the number 4 on my list. Number 3, Phil Rizzuto. This one's just cool as well. You see 3 Yankees players in the background just looking on at Phil. Stadium image in the background. Again, looks like it may be pregame warm-ups before the fans come into the stadium, because you don't see it. I know there's some shadows there, but it doesn't appear that there are a lot of fans in the stands at the time. But just him just reaching up there and reaching for the ball. Just a really cool shot of Phil Rizzuto, and just love that overall image of that card. So Phil Rizzuto comes in at number 3 on my list. Number 2, Yogi Berra. This one card that's in my collection, and I just love this Yogi Berra card. Check out the background. I mean, it looks like he's just in some open field with some trees in the background. It looks like there may be a couple players far in the distance, but he's just sitting there in his catcher's position. His catcher's mask on the ground there. He has his cap flipped around, getting ready to throw the ball. Just a great, it is, a posed image, but just overall, I just absolutely love this Yogi Berra card, and that makes the number 2 card on my list in the top 10. So the number 1 card for my top 10 favorite cards of 1950 Bowman is the Bob Feller. Another card that's in my collection, so I'm maybe a little bit biased with the Berra and the Feller, but again, just the colors of this card. You have a stadium shot again. You see the dugout, players in the dugout. You can make out, because it's a closer shot of the crowd in the stadium, you can pick out individual people. There's a person there maybe in black that's maybe walking up the one aisle there, or the row, and just you have Bob Feller there in the start of his windup, getting ready to throw a pitch, presumably warming up for the game. The colors just pop on this card. I absolutely love this Bob Feller card, so that makes the number 1 card on my top 10 list. So with that, would love to know your thoughts on my top 10 list. Obviously, there are a lot of Hall of Famers that are in the 1950 Bowman set that did not make my top 10 list. Nothing against those players, but generally speaking, those other Hall of Famers have more of just standard portrait shots. Again, they're still really attractive cards, but just not enough for me to make my top 10 list, because I just love some of these background cards that are featured in 1950 Bowman set. So again, would love to know what your thoughts are on my top 10 list. What cards from the 1950 Bowman set may make your top 10 list? And if you have missed some of my previous videos in this series, you can check 2 of those videos out right here. That's all I have for you. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.